I want to talk to you today about how to have a meaningful and civilized conversation with your child, especially if they're a teen. Our youth need our ability to communicate to be at a level so that it's helpful and not hurtful to them. And so let's talk about that. And we're going to talk, we're going to talk about how to have these great conversations and communication, opening up this two-way conversation, so you can talk about subjects, especially subjects that are really difficult to talk about. Okay, so rule number one is this. Rule number one is you've got to think before you speak. Think before you speak. And think, there's an acronym for think that it's not new, but it's really helpful. THINK. Now T is this. You want to think this way, is what I am about to say true? Is what I am about to share true? And what that means is that, is it something that's really what's happening? Is that the reality? And or is it something that's happening in your mind that maybe you're upset, you're angry, and you're seeing things through your filter, through your eyes, through, let's say, an upset state or an angry state or a confused state? You have to get all the facts, and then then you want to proceed with questions and asking and probing and listening to the answers. And the first thing is you want to say, okay, is what I'm about to ask, what am I about to say true? Okay, so that's the T. The next thing is is it helpful? Is what I'm about to say helpful? Now you have to remember is that we're there to help and assist, guide and direct and lead our youth, our children and our teens so that they can live productive and positive and powerful lives. And so we have to keep that in mind. We're there to help them along the way, to help them prepare for their day, prepare for their life. And part of that is to communicate with them, to them, what we're seeing in their behavior and what they're saying and what they're doing. And then we proceed to help them as they navigate through this crazy life of ours. And the next thing, the I is what I am about to say inspiring to my child? Is this going to inspire them to look at what they're doing and then to proceed with this mindfulness and this thought process that will help them and improve the choices that they're making in their lives? So important to do that. And the next thing is what I'm about to say, is it necessary? Now, there are times that we see something, we see our child behave a certain way that we know it's not productive, it's negative, and maybe even destructive. And so we have to choose the right time and the right place, and we have to be in the right state. The right time, the right place, and the right state. We have to make sure that we're in the right state of mind, emotionally and psychologically, and then we have to make sure it's the right time. Now, if your child, if it's in the morning and they're running behind and they're maybe in a mood and they're forgetting to brush their teeth, they woke up late and they have to hurry up and rush to the bus, that is not the time nor the place nor the right state of mind for everyone involved to have a productive and positive and powerful conversation with our child. It's better, unless it's a life-threatening situation, choose a better time. Later would be later on would be a best time when everyone's in the right state, where you can sit down with them and say, hey, look, let's talk about what happened, and I talk to me what happened, and right now it's necessary for us to talk. So it's important that you ask yourself that. The next thing is what I am about to say kind? Now, the one thing that we're going to be modeling for our children and our youth is the ability to be respectful, to have respect for each other, to show that there is value in human beings. And guess what? Our children, our youth, yes, they are human beings, and they have the right to be respected. And so when we see something in what they're doing is destructive, we need to stop and ask ourselves, okay, am I going to say something, and am I going to be kind in this? Am I going to have compassion with this? Am I going to be considerate? And am I going to have them feel value in me coming to them and presenting to them something that I've seen. And this is very important. So we've got to think before we speak. So here are a couple of more best practices. And there are 3 of them, and as I wrap up, I want to share this with you, and then we can finish off. You can go think about this and meditate in the course of your day. I know it's the end of my day. I've just come back. I'm in my studio. I've just come back from doing some other video tutorials and other things that I do. And sometimes I'll meditate on lessons that I've learned in a day, some of the best practices. So I'm going to share these 3 best practices for you. The first thing is, don't lecture. Ask questions. Okay, it's more important for you to listen than for you to talk. It's more important for you to create the environment and the opportunity for your child to speak. To let them talk and then you listen. And you do this by asking meaningful, positive, productive, thought-provoking questions. And then through that, just listen. Listen to what they have to say. And number 2 is this: judge their behavior. Don't judge them. And it's very easy for us to tell someone that, you know what, you're lazy, you don't know what you're doing, and that's horrible. What are you thinking? It's so easy to quickly judge someone on their behavior. And when we move forward with developing and growing and inspiring our children and being parents or mentors or coaches or teachers, whatever our role is for our youth, we have to remember that we have to believe and have faith in their potential. Okay, let's not have faith in their history or their behaviors. So don't judge them, judge the behavior. Look at their behavior, question about the behavior, and if they continue going down this path and doing this kind of behavior, where would that lead them to? Help them through questioning to look at the behavior and help them to think about this, help them to really analyze what they're doing and seeing how the behavior leads to a certain consequence or outcome, which leads us to number 3. Teach your child, teach your youth, teach your teens how to think. Help them see what they're doing and think about it. Help them to question what they're doing, and then help them to ask for help. Help them to think what they're doing. It's so important that we teach our youth to be critical thinkers. And if we're there all the time just telling them to do this, telling them to do that, micromanaging our youth and our children and our teens, they may listen, they may do it, but will they be able to do it when you're not there? Will they be able to think, have that critical thinking, that thought process where they say, you know, if I do this, if I make this choice, what could happen, what would happen, what will the outcomes be, what will the consequences be if I go this route? So help them to think, teach them to think. Those are the 3 key things that I really want us to really embrace, become best practices as we move forward as parents, teachers, guidance counselors, whatever our role is for our youth. And so here's what I know. If we tell a kid to do something, chances are they will rebel. That's what I know. Okay? If we invite them to think, to use their minds, to give them the power of this choice of thinking for themselves, we will teach them when they're on their own to live their life and to be able to make these great, powerful choices. And if they do make mistakes, if they do fall on their face, they have this mind where they can think about how to get out of it. And if we are available to them, they can then think about coming to us for advice, for input, for guidance, for leadership, for direction. But more importantly, we teach our children to think. Okay, so let's not tell them what to do. Let's guide them and direct them to think, to be critical thinkers, and let's support them, and let's listen to our children. Okay, until next time, Peter Liciaga, your youth mentor and also behavior activist for our children. Take care. Talk to you soon.